Calling it a win for families, Ohio's new attorney general last week praising a federal appeals court ruling that allows the state's social media age verification law to take effect after sitting for more than 2 years. Attorney General Andy Wilson praising the ruling that came down Thursday from a 3-judge panel at the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals in Cincinnati, ending an injunction. Joining us to discuss the latest out of Ohio and how this could impact other areas of the country where the same issue is prevalent is the Center Square regional editor, J.D. Davidson. Thanks for taking time with us, J.D. Social media, gaming, other internet app companies, they now are going to be required to verify a user's age or get parental consent for a child under 16. Tell us more about this law, what it does, and what the opposition was trying to do here.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of parental consent social media action has been going on around the country in several different states for several years. Ohio's law, from what I can tell, is a little more restrictive than other states. It requires the social media companies to not only get consent, but then they have to inform the parent in writing of an account, and then also inform the parents of censorship, I guess, actions available to them. So it's set to go forward. However, I spoke with the Attorney General's office today, and there's still some procedural things that have to happen before it goes forward. One of those, obviously, NetChoice, a trade group that represents all the major big tech giants, Google, Meta, all of TikTok, all of those, is absolutely going to appeal. So I would not be surprised, especially with so many things going on in different states like Louisiana, Colorado, Illinois, Georgia, that this will end up in front of the Supreme Court. But the 2-to-1 panel ruling was pretty interesting, because NetChoice is arguing everywhere that this is a First Amendment issue. The judge, 2 of the 3 judges, it was a split decision, but 2 of the 3 judges said it wasn't, because no child under 16 is suing. The only people who are suing are the big tech companies. And so they removed the free speech argument because it's not the big tech company's speech that's being censored here.
How do you see this rippling across the country? I mean, you mentioned states like Illinois. You've even got Minnesota that has these types of laws that are
Sure, yeah.
Even being challenged in the courts, right?
Yeah. So Illinois or Louisiana's law was struck down. Illinois' law, Governor Pritzker has it right now. NetChoice has asked him to veto it. I think there have been injunctions. Minnesota's law was signed. Governor Walz signed that into effect. I think it's going to have to end up in the Supreme Court. However, I do think that the ruling last week for Ohio's law may give states more confidence that they can move forward with this type of law. I don't know, but I would think that once you get one ruling, chances are there's going to be more to follow. So why not go ahead and take a shot at it?
Well, and as you said, this could go all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. We see this patchwork all across the country. Illinois' law that's on the governor's desk may be a little bit different than Minnesota's law that's been challenged in the courts, maybe a little bit different than Ohio's law, which an appeals court just decided upon. So has Congress done anything about this? And have there been conversations that you've seen where that seems to be, really prominent and important in this overall discussion about how do you regulate a company that is across state lines, let alone across international boundaries?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the huge issue. And you could see it with other kind of age verification things. Different states have, when it comes to porn on the internet, different states have different laws on how to verify a user's age for that. There has been small talk in Congress, And the reason I know this is the guy that really pushed Ohio's law was John Husted when he was lieutenant governor. And one of the first things he did when he got appointed to fill J.D. Vance's Senate seat was kind of bring this up in Washington. Now, it hasn't gone anywhere, but you want to talk about some frustrations for parents. Now, is this a huge taxpayer issue? No. But is it a parental issue? Yeah. And not only a parental issue when it comes to a child's safety, but also you get into the frustration of, listen, even if a parent, let's just say, doesn't care what their kid is doing online, now I got to stop what I'm doing as a parent to go through this whole mess to get him or her signed up. And so it's while it's not a dollars and cents issue, it's certainly a frustration thing, whichever side you fall on, for parents. And really, the only way it's almost like gambling. It's like porn. It's when you go these patchwork type of regulations, it becomes harder and harder and harder on people when they go on vacation. And who's to say if Florida has a law that's more strict than Ohio's, if we go down to Florida, then all of a sudden my kid who's sitting at the beach or at the pool can't get on the internet. And for those of us who have been on vacation when the internet doesn't work, that's not a fun time.
Well, just get them back out there onto the beach and do some surf lessons or something.
Sure.
JD, obviously, there, as we said, different laws have different, or different states have different laws here, all dealing with social media. But the constant that seems to be running through all of this is NetChoice. Just how large is this group, and just how impactful do you think that they are in crafting these conversations?
It is massive, and I mean, if you don't think Google and Meta and TikTok have huge roles to play in everything that happens in state houses across the country, whether it's parental consent or data centers, and in the halls of Congress, you're nuts. I mean, these are probably the most influential in terms of money groups that there are. So they're going to push hard for this. I had never heard of NetChoice until they filed suit to stop Ohio's law 2 years ago. And now it's becoming as popular or as noticeable as Facebook is now. I mean, they are everywhere, and they're going to fight. And I mean, they will fight every law that comes that restricts access to those platforms, because let's face it, every click, every eyeball are dollars and cents for those companies.
Well, as you said, in the Ohio case, the issue of whether this was a First Amendment issue seems to have been batted down by the appeals court. But in the Minnesota case, NetChoice arguing that the law is an attack on free speech.
Right.
So we'll see.
It argued that in Illinois, and it argued that in Louisiana. I thought it was interesting that this, and there were two opinions written, and both of them said, listen, you don't have somebody who was claiming their speech is being curtailed in this lawsuit. All you're saying is they might be, or we're representing these people, and no, you're not. Now, what I initially thought, well, and I still think, is what if they come back with a 14-year-old that says, yep, I'm going to sue now as a 14-year-old, and NetChoice is going to represent them. And we see that happening with a lot of different groups across the country, whether it's a kid wants to wear a particular shirt in school or something like that.
Or even wants to carry a firearm between the age of 18 and 20. No question. There's
plaintiff in that instead of Google, instead of Facebook. And now you've got a whole nother issue that comes up.
It's safe to say, JD, that this issue is not going to go away anytime soon. We've seen this action now in several states and in the courts, and it's definitely something we'll be keeping a close eye on. Greatly appreciate you taking the time here to be with us for the states.